Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Patrick. I'm a videographer and a dancer, but I don't do both at the same time. I keep them separate because it is very difficult to hold the camera while I'm moving so much. If you guys have been keeping up with my videos, you've probably noticed that I take a lot of time focusing on the video side of my life and not so much on the dance side of my life. So this video, I want to put a little more emphasis on the dance side, and I want to talk about how dance changed my life and essentially saved my life. January is a time of year where most people are not feeling their best self. I feel like because it is the beginning of a new year, a lot of people are trying to reinvent themselves or start something new, just make a change in their life. And that's not always easy to do. You have to reform new habits, you have to look at the world in a different perspective, and you have to force yourself to do that over and over again until it becomes second nature to you. So lately I've had a few friends come to me telling me they haven't been the best. And naturally, I felt the need to give them advice. It made me think, when I was in a difficult situation, how did I get through it? What did I do in order to get me to a happier place versus where I used to be, where I didn't always know exactly what I was doing? Because even now, I don't know what I'm doing, but I have a lot of better ways to cope with the situations that I'm in. So to start off, dance opened a lot of doors for me in order to meet new people that I never would have met if it wasn't through dance. Most of the people go through life kind of sticking with their own cliques, sticking with people similar to themselves, but dance is almost like a language because it is a form of self-expression. So in that way, a lot of people were coming together and they weren't always very similar people. So it kind of exposed me to a bunch of people that I was not familiar with, that I never had experience dealing with, and I made friends that would have been unlikely if I had been doing anything else. But I would say that that is a way that dance has more so changed my life. I wouldn't say that's how it saved my life. Those are very different things. And so in terms of how dance saved my life, it's a lot more psychological and mental in the way that it worked for me. When most people go through difficult situations, the first thing they try to do is run away from it. They'll try to do things that grant them immediate gratification, and I mean, these things will make you feel better temporarily, but it never lasts. So a lot of people nowadays, they'll drink, smoke, substance abuse, stuff like that. I personally am very, very happy that I've never felt the need to resort to any of that. I've never felt the need to resort to any substance because I try my best to I find my own ways to cope. I know at the end of the day, everybody has a way that works the best for them. For me, dance has been one of those things that has always been there for me. From as early as my first heartbreak, when I didn't understand anything, when it seemed like everything was up in the air and chaotic, the one thing that I could always turn to was dance. It wasn't something that required me to talk to it. It wasn't something that wanted to ask me questions and ask for answers. It was something that was just there, something that I could do. And like I said earlier, it's a form of self-expression, and I think that's one of the reasons why it was so effective for me, because it's an art at the end of the day. And so I was able to express myself through movement, and I mean, on the upside, it was exercise as well, so it kind of kept me healthy. But dance was always one of those things that no matter how bad I was feeling, as soon as I finished dancing, I would always feel like there's a weight that's been lifted from my shoulders. And it's funny because I learned this really early on, and so every time I went through anything similar, every time I went through anything devastating, the first thing I would resort to was dance. Oh, I can't wait to dance. I can't wait to kind of go. And the first thing for me was, I never thought of it as I can't wait to express myself. For me, it was always, I can't wait to just release everything from my mind and just kind of not think about anything. Whenever I danced, it was one of those things that I was able to just free my mind from all my thoughts, and I could just put everything that I wanted to put down just on the ground as a physical movement. Coping mechanisms and having a healthy one is very, very crucial in order to develop yourself as a person. And I can't be any happier to know that I've had dance with me this whole time. And another thing that I loved about dance is that it was a getaway for me. It allowed me to have my own time away from time with my friends, away from times with school. As much as I made friends through dance, it was almost like I was stepping into a whole new world every time I got to do it. And so every time I had problems in one area of my life, whenever I went to dance, it was like none of those problems ever existed. And I think that's one of the reasons why I was so able to cope with anything I was going through. In a way, people could say that this is a way that I ran away from my problems, and this would be true if it weren't the case that every time I finished dancing and went back to my regular life, I felt a lot better. It's almost as if every time I was dancing, it was a way for me to organize my mind, organize the way I felt and thought about the situation. And when I was dropped back into my regular life, I felt a lot more organized. I felt a lot more at ease and relieved from whatever situation I was dealing with. And I kind of looked at whatever situation I was in with fresh eyes and ears. And so that's all to say that having a healthy coping mechanism, no matter what it is so important if you want to continue to develop as a person through life, because we're always going to run into obstacles. We're always going to have our downtime. That's how life is. If we're growing, we're always going to have to go through a period of crap before we end up being boosted up into a next level of whoever we are supposed to be. But if ever we have trouble dealing with the situation and we don't have a proper coping mechanism, it is so easy to relapse back into the life that we once had and not continue moving forward into whoever it is that we want to be. A lot of the friends that have talked to me about the things that they're dealing with have talked about how to deal with being alone. There are a lot of people out there who have been in relationships for a long time, or have been in a relationship and have spent so much time giving parts of themselves to the other person that when things don't work out, they end up feeling so lost and they forget who they are, because whoever they were, they kind of handed over to the other person who now is not around anymore. And after developing this type of reliance on the other person, you no longer know where to lean. And so when this happens, a lot of people end up going to different people and trying to fill the void that they feel inside of them. And this ends up being a string of just unhealthy relationships, because you're not ready to be in one, but you kind of lean on whoever you can in order to feel better and fill that void. That doesn't really help you progress towards your specific goals, unless that's what you want to do, which there's nothing wrong with. But if that's not what you want to do, then it's not going to help you. I think in most cases when this happens, it is better to be alone, to learn who you are and how you react in different situations. And this has a lot to do with self-discovery. If it weren't for me having dance, I wouldn't have discovered so many things about myself, because it put me into so many different situations. It brought me to new obstacles, but always guided me through and always helped me to continue learning more and more about myself. It gave me a healthy way to deal with my situations. And I know the title of this video is How Dance Saved My Life, because I really do believe that if I didn't have dance, my life would be in a very different place and I would be a very different person. But if I could give any advice to anybody who is having a tough time being alone, people who are struggling because they're dealing with learning themselves, it would be to try a bunch of things, take calculated risks with the things that you're doing in life, get out of your comfort zone and do things that could teach you more about yourself, things that you've never done before. See yourself in new situations. And aside from that, make sure you have a hobby, have a bunch of hobbies, try different things. Luckily for me, I had something that was an art form, and so self-expression was a very big part of that art form. If you can find a hobby that allows you to just kind of pour yourself into it, anything you're passionate about is going to help you with dealing with being alone. I think it is very important for people to learn how to be alone, and so if you're able to find something that will make you happy to be alone, that can help you so much more with self-healing and figuring out who you are. When you have something that you're very passionate about, that you love to do, whether you're with people or alone, that will give you so much more power. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. If any of you guys are feeling this way, I hope I was able to give some advice or guidance in order for you to navigate your situation. If you like me talking about this type of content, let me know. I just wanted to give a few of my thoughts because people have been coming to me not feeling the best, and I just wanted to share my 2 cents on things that have really helped me in my life, because even for me, I think it was a really big learning experience on what has helped me get to where I am and what has helped me cope every time I don't feel great. So I just wanted to share that for you guys, and I'm gonna keep doing video content. It's not always gonna be like this. It's not always going to be on a down note. I like having my energy up here. So I'll see you guys next time, and peace.